From whatever place it is you're tuned on to the Life Signatures Radio, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I'm recording this thing at a time and a place where it is raining, so you might be hearing some sputters here and there because we're doing this in a makeshift studio. Someone might be saying, but you guys, you're in a makeshift studio for this is the 4th year you're doing podcasting. You should be getting a studio. Well, please focus on the message. You remember those things people used to tell us? They will stand up in church and they sing something so weird with a very crooked voice, and they tell you, do not listen to the voice, listen to the message. That's exactly what I want you to do right now. We are in the middle of a series. We're talking about strategic living. We've been doing that for quite a while now, and today we're going to continue talking about why it is important for us to live a life that is strategic. If this podcast is making sense to you, please make sure that you share it with as many people as possible. And if it's making sense to you and you want to give back, please click on the button and give back. So today, let us go deeper on what we had started yesterday. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
We did say that it is very easy for us to not live a strategic life. It is very easy for us to continue doing what we're doing in a short-termist way, and we wouldn't even figure out that, there's nothing wrong. The thing is that if we wanted to be the best versions of ourselves, then we've got to be more strategic than we are short-termist. But we've already agreed that to be short-termist is one of the most natural things ever. Nobody tells you to be short-termist. It's just the way we are naturally inclined. But to be strategic, we've got to be intentional about it. We've got to go against the grain. We've got to be probably welcome some discomfort and stuff like that before we can really make sure that we are strategic in our existence. So why is it important for us to be strategic? Number one, we've already talked about this. It gives us clarity and focus. Please go back 2 episodes and just see what we talked about that. It gives you clarity and focus. You need that. I need that. Number 2, it gives me consistent progress. I'm able to see where I am going wrong, where I'm going right, and so I have a point of reference on the direction of which I'm taking. I will know whether I'm progressing or whether I'm not progressing and stuff like that. But the third thing, which we've already alluded to here, is that it gives us adaptability, it gives us resilience. And that's important for us. Remember, this podcast is about productivity, it's about purpose, it's about resilience. And you cannot be known to be resilient. You cannot be known to be resilient if you don't have strategic kind of a focus in your life, because there's no point of reference. Because if I am short-termist, the only thing I'm doing is existing in autopilot and fending for myself to eat my 3 square meals every day and maybe pay my bills. But resilience is about overcoming an obstacle or a challenge that stands in the way of your strategic deployment in life. In other words, let's say you're living a life that is project-oriented. We're going to talk about having a project-oriented life immediately after this series. But if you're doing that, things will come your way. Basically, take a man like Elon Musk. I've been talking about Elon Musk a lot. He wants to send a starship, whatever, into the skies. And the first launch is a failure. The second launch is a failure. The third launch is a failure, and all that stuff. And he's burning fuel. He's burning funds. He's just about to go bankrupt before he goes to NASA and gets a contract. What do? You could easily fail once and you say, adios, I'm out of here. And if you do that, it could be probably because your life is not necessarily strategic. So to be strategic means that you're actually taking on to yourself projects that matter to you. They are important to you. They are big, they are impossible probably, they are unreasonable probably, but they matter to you. They've got to be deployed. If they will not be deployed, who will? I remember Elon Musk telling these people who worked at, I think, Solar City, his company that he bought from his cousins. And he was frustrated because things were not moving the way they were supposed to move. And he told them, if we don't make this happen, it will be a bad thing, not just for us as a company, but for the world. See, that is a strategic orientation. He's talking about solving a world problem. Now, if that is the focus that I do have, guess what it's going to do? It's going to give me a lot of resilience and a lot of adaptability, because the adaptability and the resilience is helping me to remain strategic and to deploy that which I need to deploy and to actually finish it, to bring it to the logical conclusion. In other words, I've got to succeed no matter how much opposition I'm going to face. But that can only come when I am strategic in my approach. If I am not strategic in my approach, that's why sometimes people, normally when they teach people how to set goals, they normally say, write your goal down, but against that goal, write why it is important to you. The why of doing something. It can be a very great motivational force. If I just want to buy a car for the sake of it, and the why is not resonating in my soul, not resonating in my spirit, I can just walk away from it. When the first opposition comes, when the first failure comes, I say, this thing is not for me, a car is not for me, and all that. I'm just using a car as a thing. I shouldn't even have mentioned that, but you get my point. I'm using it as an example. Life is very unpredictable, but a strategic mindset prepares us to handle challenges with grace and with resilience. And when we have a larger vision for our future, setbacks become temporary obstacles rather than insurmountable roadblocks. We look at these roadblocks and these setbacks and we've got to overcome them, because they are not the most important thing. The most important thing is the goal, the strategy, the strategic life that we're living. But if there's no strategic focus, when there is an obstacle, when there is an insurmountable roadblock, I say, do I even need to cross the roadblock? I don't. Why? Because I don't have a strategic focus in life. I mean, I don't have a why. Why should I cross the roadblock? Why should I go through this difficulty? I don't have to go through the difficulty. Why? Because I don't have a strategic focus. So if I'm having a strategic focus in my life, the importance of it is that it gives me resilience, it gives me adaptability. I'm adaptable I become better equipped. I equip myself. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity for me to build capacity. Every setback becomes an opportunity for me to learn how not to do it, but to continue doing it. I am more adaptable, I'm more equipped, I'm able to pivot. Pivoting is something that they normally talk about a lot in the startup world, that when you hit a roadblock, I mean, can you change something? Can you take another tangent, but continue being strategic, continue taking that particular journey that you're on? That is how important it is. But you see, like I've insisted, and I know I'm sounding like I'm condescending, I'm sounding like I'm talking down to people who are not understanding things, but it's important for me to say this, that the person who does not have a strategic focus in life, it is easy for them not to be adaptable and not to be resilient, because there is no motivation, there is no why, there is no reason for that resilience, there is no reason for that particular focus in life. And invariably, very many people who come to the place, I've never been in that particular place. Probably I've thought about it, but I've never been in that particular place where I am sure I really want to die. it's normally because there is no connection, engagement to the strategic focus in life. In other words, people who normally give up on life, if you check carefully, you find that there is no strategic focus or strategic orientation in their lives. That's my guess. I've not done a scientific study to determine that, but that's just my guess. That's just my informed guess. That the person who is resilient, the person who is adaptable, has something that is making them to be resilient and to be adaptable. They want to continue living. They want to succeed in that particular thing. Therefore, if we wanted to be adaptable in life, and if we wanted to be resilient, then we've got to start from being strategic. We don't just become resilient. We don't just become adaptable. We do this because we are strategic. That's why it's important for us to be strategic. If you hear stories around the world of people who have overcome stuff, they overcame stuff because there was an overarching ambition that was directing their footsteps, that was informing their lives. And that's why it is so. So tomorrow we're going to continue talking about this. Maybe tomorrow we'll bring this small mini series to a close. But until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.